Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. Where we left off last time, we had made it to Last Light Inn and began exploring. Now, before we get going, I'll talk about the elephant in the room. I got a new microphone and I'm sure it sounds different. I had to adjust things completely different. I think it sounds good, but let me know if there are any issues or any tweaks you think I should make. I just want it to sound as best as I can. But with that out of the way, let's hop in and keep exploring the Last Light Inn. I think we were going to leave off, or the plan was to go through some of these other rooms we haven't explored on the first floor before we move on to the upper floor. So let's check out back here. I guess it's not a room necessarily, but it is somewhere we haven't seen yet. And of course we can loot all the things. Rotten food. Why is there rotten food at the inn that has people living here? I mean, I get that they haven't been here for too long, or at least some of them are new here. Maybe they haven't cleaned out all the rotten food. Ooh. Loose planks, and it's not stealing. Snowburst Ring. When the wearer deals cold damage, they also create a 15-foot circle of ice around the targets. That's cool. None of us really deal with cold damage, though. But difficult, slippery terrain would be pretty cool. Let's read the note. What are you? Scribbled note. Journal script is antiquated, but its pages look like they've been barely aged. How much longer before must I languish here? I'd hoped to be in Baldur's Gate a 10-day ago, but that blasted tollhouse keeper won't accept my papers. When Father hears about this, he'll be furious. There's something odd about this village. People skulk around like they've something to hide. The shrines to the Moon Maiden seem ill-tended and barren. I'd hoped to learn more about Ketheric Thorm, the village's leader, but talk of him seems to put people on edge. I'm not sure I can bear another hour in this loathsome place. So, it's a Selûne village, but it seems if Ketheric Thorm is the leader, it seems like the Shar worshippers have taken over the village by this point and are just pretending to be Selûne worshippers. And whoever this guy is that wrote this note probably didn't have a good outcome.
I missed that. Awesome.
Hey kid.
This place is awesome. There's so much stuff.
I think that's the kid we rescued from the Harpies, if I'm remembering correctly. Just hearing voices and wondering who's talking. I think it's in that room. Baldur's Grape. That is camp supplies. We will grab it. I think that's the counselor lady. As we interrupt their discussion.
I wouldn't go that far, but her focus is on stopping the cult, and I suspect she'd sacrifice anyone to achieve that. Jaylar's doing her best, but he shows no signs of waking.
We can wait.
But Baldur's Gate can't.
If you have an alternative in mind,
Huh.
please do propose it. Patience. We may know a way through the curse.
We don't even know if he'll ever recover.
But we do know that anyone who goes charging into those shadows is dead.
I'm gonna check out this guy before we interrupt their discussion.
Let the Duke rot in prison.
Okay, you must be the cleric of Selûne.
Lead a way into the
Probably on a floor, not floating in the sky.
What I won't do
Casting this.
any more of our
Is she always casting? What happens when she goes to sleep?
She wants the same thing we do. To save the city.
I don't know.
She doesn't care if the Grand Duke
Flame color. That's your name, isn't it? art colour? I'm Fistula.
Nathaniel and me climbing up a tree.
We need you, sir. One of our own's been taken, a Grand Duke. You might know something that could help us bring him back.
We found him out in the shadows, just wandering. Nothing survives out there for long. Don't know how he made it, or where he came from.
This is no physical ailment. It is a spiritual malaise. The man's mind has been gripped by the Shadowfell, yet it has not broken.
Huh. Heard the name Thaniel from a friend of mine, Halsin. Okay. Can he hear you? What's wrong with him? Let me have a look at him. That song, have you heard it before? So possibly we should bring Halsin in to deal with this. I also think we should bring Will in because they're talking about the Grand Duke. So maybe after this conversation, we'll swap out a couple of party members. I've heard the name Thaniel from a friend of mine, Halsin.
Really? Could you bring him here? You'd be glad of the help, wouldn't you, sir?
I don't remember specifically what Halsin said about Thaniel. It's not coming to my mind. But luckily, Varric here remembers. Can he hear you?
You hear me, don't you, sir? You might not be able to answer, but you hear me.
What's wrong with him?
A century locked inside a Sharan curse will do things to a man. But you're not alone, sir. We're here with you. And I'm sure you've got relations, maybe some long-lived friends even who want to be seeing you.
He's been here for a century. Rounded years makes me think he's human. And he certainly doesn't look to be 100 years old. So, I don't know about that. Let me have a look at him.
If you know how to get through to him, don't hesitate.
Medicine, observe its present condition, which we'd be terrible at. Song, have you heard it before? Sorcerer Arcana, look for any signs of errant magic afflicting this man. Which we'd have advantage and a +6 on. So yeah, let's do that. Excuse me. I don't remember if we still have Eagle Splendor going, so I don't want to take guidance because I think we probably do. That'll do it. Just barely.
He spent a long time in the Shadowfell, a Sharan realm without color or light. It's had a terrible effect on him.
His mind lingers in the Shadowfell, but perhaps it can be returned. We need to remind him who he is. Some personal effects, maybe.
Did you already check for personal effects? Flame Culla, do you know where you are? Investigation, look closer at him. There may be something you missed. I'm assuming we can do this after these. Hopefully. Usually, I think we can ask our questions first. Also, there's leave, which usually means that we get to choose all the options before we leave, so I think it's fine. Did you already check for personal effects?
This was in his pocket. He doesn't seem to have any reaction to it now, but he held on to it for 100 years anyway.
Again, 100 years. Where are you getting that from? Unless the identification or whatever you just handed to us shows a name that's 100 years old, and so you just assume that's him. I don't know. Flame Culla, do you know where you are?
If he does, he isn't sane.
That's why I'm asking him. Alright, let's do the investigation then. Without guidance, because again, I can't recall. Only a DC 10, we've got a +3. So 7 or better. That is 7 or better.
His fingertips sport calluses and toughened skin, as if from manual labor, or playing a stringed instrument, perhaps.
Okay. If he's a musician, maybe we need to get an instrument for him? Or play an instrument?
Some parchment there. Looks official.
Any help from
She wants to say
Parchment that looks official. Also, what did we
She
get?
doesn't care if the Grand Duke lives or dies. I wouldn't go that far. But her focus is on
She handed us something.
and I suspect she'd sacrifice anyone to achieve that. Taylor's doing her best, but he shows no signs
And what's this parchment that you just spotted?
But Baldur's Gate can't.
if you have an alternative in mind, please do propose it.
I don't know.
Patience.
Unless we were handed... No. No, is the one letter what she handed us? Assignee, Art Cola. Yes. Rank Flame. Objective, to obtain information about current activities in Moonrise Towers and its environs, headed by Catherick Thorm and the region's ancestral Thorm family. Orders, take lodging in the Last Light Inn and begin investigation in the local House of Healing. Reports indicate corruption, but no corroboration has yet been obtained. Note, the region's Thorm family are long-standing devotees of Selûne, but rumors indicate a Sharan enclave might be gaining momentum. Investigate and report. Signed, the Grand Duke Eltan.
Do propose it.
Last night's best bargain, right here.
I mean, we have lines here that I didn't hear us say. So he's at the House of Healing. Wonder what he found.
That anyone who goes charging into those shadows is
Do we know where the House of Healing would be? Or is that another... Investigate the House of Healing. So that's over here. Okay.
Finest stock.
Well, let's go to our camp and switch out Will and... Oh, this is a cool looking area. Switch out Will and Halson into the party. And Will actually wants to talk to us, so we will take care of that as well.
Just what I need. A blushing apple begging to be plucked? Raphael's angling for the girl's soul.
Yes. Will's an obstinate one. If she's of a mind to team up with Raphael, there's no changing it. Possibly true. We still should try. I tried to warn her, but she wouldn't listen. She'll make the right decision, you'll see. I tried to warn her, but she wouldn't listen.
She's stubborn, yes. Bold as a lamb cavorting in a lion's den. But as ambitious as she is, Mole's no fool.
True.
One way or another, she'll see there's no winning Raphael's game, and she'll walk away.
And if she doesn't, for her sake, I hope you're right. If she's smart, she'll hear him out. And if she doesn't,
Then Raphael collects another trophy, and Mole sells her independence to the hells. You've seen what happens when a bound soul reaches for freedom.
yeah.
I can't imagine what cruel penance Mole would pay if she were ever to resist that fell bastard.
Well, I'd like you to join me.
I'm up for the challenge. You've just got to make a little space.
I don't plan on adventuring with you guys. But I guess we'll keep Astarion because we might still run into locked things before I leave the... No, we'll keep Shadowheart because we're going to be talking to a Selûne cleric. And Shadowheart might be fun to have around. So you can take Astarion's
I
place.
must how you think.
He's going to have infinite levels. Because he's probably... Yeah, he's level 3. We don't use Will, ever.
You wish to speak?
I do. There's a Flaming Fist last light. The curse has left him insensible, but he's muttering about a boy called Thaniel.
He is? Then I must see him. Insensible or not, he knows something. I will go to see him at once. Join me when you can.
Oh, I don't need to put him in my party, apparently. That works for me. Well, let's do a level up of will. Since he's in the party, I might as well. So he's going to get a cantrip, a new spell, and then a new feat as well. Cantrip, we'll go with... Doesn't really matter because we're never going to use him, or rarely going to use him. But Mage Hand's regularly useful. And then a hold person. Why not? Your charisma is only 17, so I think I'm just going to give him a bonus to charisma because that's always great. Next. Another spell. Remove curse could be pretty powerful. Just to have it available. If we're cursed, we can swap Will in, remove the curse, and then swap him back out. Have him be a support character. Sure. Wire the Mind. You can cast Slow with a Warlock spell slot. Slow's good. Bestow Curse. Is Bestow Curse any good? Let's see. Choose a creature with... curse a creature with your touch. The curse either bestows disadvantage on checks and saving throws or attacks. Lets you deal an additional damage to the target or robs it of its actions. I mean, there's a lot of ands and ors in that. And I don't know... Like, disadvantage on checks and saving throws is one option that we get to choose, maybe. Or disadvantage on attacks. That's how I'm reading that. And maybe lets you deal additional damage to the target or robs it of it. Yeah. I'm guessing we get one of these, disadvantage on checks and saving throws or attacks. It also gives us additional damage. And then is it all of that or robbing it of action? Poorly written. And I'm pretty sure in 5e that would have been a lot better spelled out of exactly what it's doing. Mage armor on yourself at will without expending a spell slot would be nice because you're theoretically... No, I don't think I went with the blade. What did I choose for you? Pact of the Tome, right. I had considered Pact of the Blade because of the Blade of Frontiers, but his stats are just terrible for it. Like attacking with Dex, I think. I think eventually he can attack with Charisma. But also his AC is bad. This would be good if we'd gone that route, but since we didn't, he's mainly going to stand to the back probably. Assuming we take him into combat. Invoke your patron's Bewitching Charm. You gain proficiency in Deception and Persuasion. No. See Through Darkness could be nice. Including Magical Darkness. That's the problem I have with the Darkness spell in general, is it blinds your whole party, which is not as useful as it might sound. Cast False Life on yourself as a level 1 spell without expending a spell slot. Disguise Self, no. Cast one with Shadows. Banished in the darkness, become invisible as long as you stand still. Visibility ends early if you move, attack. Cast another spell, take an action, or take damage. How often can I cast it? Because it says it lasts until a long rest. You cast it on yourself, and then anytime you're standing still, you're invisible, but once you move or attack, you become visible. Because that could be pretty cool. I assume the first attack gets advantage for being invisible. I just don't know what the action required to go back to invisible, unless it's one usage of invisibility per day. I don't know, not clear. Repelling blast is often nice, just to throw things away from you. As we've seen when enemies are throwing Astarion off cliffs, it can be useful, although we'd lose a lot of loot. But a lot of the loot doesn't particularly matter, and we've got tons of money. Once per long rest, you can cast Bane using a Warlock spell slot. No. I think Repelling Blast out of those seems the most useful. New subclass feature. What do you got for me? Call upon your patron to change your fate and add a d10 to an ability check. Okay. Sure. Counterspell. You have so few spell slots. I don't know if I'd want to waste one of them on counterspell. I'm being perfectly honest. Although you do get your spells back on a short rest. Yeah, having him be in support, and we've used our counterspell often enough and then run out of high-level spell slots that if we took him out, having a second counterspeller could be useful to not have to waste Varric's more useful spells. So I'm fine with that. Finally level 7. I think that's where the rest of us are. 4th level spells, of which you only have a handful of options. Banishment could be cool. Flight, no. Dimension Door, potentially useful. Fire Shield, probably not. Provide resistance to fire or cold damage and retaliate against melee attacks. Again, could be cool if we were making him a melee focused character. And then Wall of Fire. Probably not. I don't know, I'm thinking Banishment or Fire Shield. Charisma save is probably reasonably easy to do. And you don't have any sort of resistances on your own, right? Fire and cold are both good ones to have available if you need them. Yeah, we'll go with that. Then another Eldritch Invocation. I think our list has increased. Book of Ancient Secrets. You can inscribe magical rituals into your Book of Shadows, gain Grave Sickness, Chromatic Orb, and Silence spells. You can cast these once per long rest and don't expend spell slots. That's cool. Chromatic Orb we've used plenty and it's pretty good. And Warlock's automatically upcast to the highest spell slot, so he'd be casting as a 4th level spell. Don't much care for Rave Sickness or Silence, but that one's a definite maybe. Confusion. What does Confusion do? Use a group of creatures, so not a single target. That's nice. Causing them to attack at random, wander around aimlessly, and occasionally skip turns in their stupor. It's not bad. It's a range of 60 feet. How big of a group? How many people does it target? Don't know. Cast Polymorph. Meh. Flow. Curse. No, no, no. Definitely thinking one of these two. If these weren't available, I probably would have gone with the one with shadows just to see how it played out. But I like the idea of Confusion, even though it's not exactly clear how big of a group it's gonna work on. Okay, so we've got Will in our party, and Halsin has already gone over there to join us. So let's head back out of camp.
I saw you pressing a bunch of flowers the other day in a book.
No signs of waking.
We can wait.
Yes, but Baldur's Gate can't.
If you have
Not
an
like you
alternative
to
in
keep
mind,
something
please
forever.
do propose it. Patience.
Who are you talking to?
May know a
They'll
way.
crumble
Will?
away in time.
I don't even know if he'll
But
ever
no harm in appreciating their beauty
Oh.
until then.
Anyone who goes charging into those shadows.
Maybe it was the night orchid that I gave her.
The plan is to do nothing. Let the Duke rot in prison while Baldur's Gate burns.
Hey, Halson.
Daniel and me are climbing up a tree.
It's true then. He's met Daniel. There's no other way he'd know that name. This is just what we needed. Well done. We need to wake him. He must know something about where to find Daniel.
Any ideas? There must be another way to lift the curse. I'll see what I can do. Any ideas?
If he was able to escape the Shadowfell, then it mustn't have managed to consume his spirit. Well, not all of it anyway. We need to unlock whatever's left of him, inside his head. There must be something to trigger him. A word, a memory, an item. We just need to find it.
I'm guessing he left an instrument at that healer's place he was supposed to go. Seems that's what they're hinting at. There must be another way to lift the curse.
Without Daniel, no. And I don't know how I can find him without speaking to this man.
Okay. So that's the connection to Thaniel that I was misremembering. Or not remembering at all. Thaniel apparently knows how to lift the curse. And so we're trying to find Thaniel. Let's go through the journal and see what it says there so I can re-remind myself. I'll see what I can do.
I don't deserve you, my friend.
We go to the journal. Let's see. Get rid of the completed ones. Lift the shadow curse. According to Halson, if we want to lift the shadow curse, we must find Thaniel, the spirit of the land. Right, okay. Thaniel was the spirit of the land. Found a mysterious man lying unconscious in Last Light Inn. He said the name Thaniel while sleeping. We should tell Halson about this. I do recall Halson mentioning that the spirit of the land was a boy who was cursed. And that's when I joked that maybe it was Oliver. Okay.
We can wait.
Has he shown any sign of coming to his senses?
You can help him, can't you? He deserves a life. After all he's been through.
Okay. Nothing more to do here, it seems.
I don't even know if he'll
Let's-
ever recover.
But we do know that anyone who goes charging
Let's interrupt
into those
this.
shadows is dead.
So the plan is to do nothing. He still won't speak. Just keeps going with the bloody song.
Nothing of use on his person.
His original writ of duty, signed by Eltan himself. Fella must be one of the very first Flaming Fist.
He must know something. Let's not give up on him yet.
Floric.
Hells. I know that voice. Will? In Timora's name, what happened to you?
The Hells have had their vengeance, and I doubt they are done with me.
Ye gods. Fate has no shortage of troubles to burden us with. I don't suppose you found a way into the towers?
Not yet. What's with the fellow on the cot? Are the Flaming Fist just going to stand around here? I mean, it seems that way. I have no intention of heading there. What's with the fellow on the cot?
Isabel cleared this place, and he just appeared. We think he's staying at the inn when the curse fell, which means he's been trapped inside for a century. It beggars belief he's alive at all. Hopefully, he'll come round. Tell us something useful about getting through the shadows. Right now, he seems to have little more to him than a refrain from some song or other.
What can you tell me about Isabel?
Cleric of Saluna. She's got a room upstairs if you want to meet her. Just don't interrupt her while she's doing whatever it is that keeps this place shadow-free.
What if I want to talk to her? Well, I'd like to talk to him. I assume we're talking about the man on the cot.
Wouldn't we all? I'm not even sure he's fully conscious, but feel free to say hello. Maybe a new face will inspire him. Unfortunately, I won't be here when he comes around. I'm heading to Baldur's Gate to seek reinforcements. The Council sent a carrier pigeon with news that the city has been dealing with absolutist attacks. The Steel Watch is holding strong. I'll request that Lord Gortash send some of them to aid in the fight against Moonrise. The curse won't harm them.
Holy shit. That's my old boss. The guy who sold me to Zariel.
Oh.
Gortash, as in Enver Gortash. Last I knew, he was a minor player in city affairs.
A lot's changed since you left Baldur's Gate, Will. Gortash has gained considerable influence since then.
Huh. So Gortash is the scumbag who sold... Wow. Karlach. There, I'm like, why has her name just escaped my mind? Karlach to Zariel. So he's a terrible person, but he's leading... He's a lord now, and he's in charge of the Steel Watch and defense of Baldur's Gate. What are the Steel Watch?
The Steel Watch are the future of warfare. Gondian automatons that can be sent into battle without risking any lives. Except those of our enemies. Lord Gortash had only completed work on the prototypes before Ravengard and I left for Elturel, but even they were formidable. With the Steel Watch at our backs, we can storm the tower whatever Ketheric throws at us, I'm sure of it. I'll do my best, but there's every chance I'll fall to the curse or the cult before I reach the city. Don't count on me and assume no aid is coming. Work with Jaheira. That Harper's mind is as sharp as her blade. Follow her guidance. Farewell. We'll meet again, God's willing.
I was hoping I could ask you those other questions.
The journey back to Baldur's Gate won't be easier, but your task here is harder still. Timora be with you.
You're really not going to allow me to ask about Gortash or anything else.
Premium trinkets and...
That's disappointing. Hey, Karlach.
So Gortash is a lord now. I'd like to clap eyes on this Steel Watch of his. You already know the story. I was Gortash's bodyguard, loyal as they come, when he made the deal with Zariel. She got a test subject for her infernal engine. I never found out what he got. This is the kind of man who gets a title. Authority. Makes me sick.
Yeah, I'm guessing these automatons are in some way tied to that deal and are not going to turn out to be a, you know, awesome replacement for men-at-arms that the council lady is expecting. Like, if they have infernal engines at their heart or whatever, like, there's going to be some downside to them because Gortash does not seem to be on the level. Me too. A man like that has no place in power. Whatever the Steel Watch is, it must be quite impressive. We'll make him answer for what he did to you as soon as we get to the city. Yes and yes. A man like that has no place in power.
No. But they always seem to get it, don't they?
Well, we just have to prove his crimes, and then hopefully people will want him out of office. Hello.
Heard you're meant to be heading toward the towers.
That's the theory. You heard right. Doing your job, you mean? But you were working on a way in yourselves. I'm gonna ask that.
Not sure I'd call it that myself. This fellow's in no condition to help anyone. That makes you our best bet. Hope it's a good one.
Yeah, so you guys literally are all doing nothing, expecting us to deal with everything. Fantastic.
We're discussing fist business, and you're no fist.
True, but you guys aren't doing literally anything. Since I'm doing your job for you, you could possibly offer advice, aid. But I guess not. Just that mild singing in the
An extra
background.
blade could be the difference between rescuing Duke Ravengard or losing him forever. I hope you'll help us.
Helping you involves you guys actually doing something. I can't help you if you aren't doing anything.
Nice to see a friendly face come out the shadows for once.
I do not like these flaming fists. Maybe I've made that
Into the
clear.
towers, are you? Good. I pray it's not too late for Duke Ravengard.
Let's hope not. Just gonna loot all the bags. They seem more likely to have something of interest than all the chests and whatnot. But I guess not. Alright, and you.
If you're poking around this god's forsaken place, you must have someone in Moonrise too. Hope you find them.
I guess the Absolute is the person in Moonrise we're looking for. Harper's Testimonial. That sounds interesting. Harper's Testimonial, the last stand of Ketheric Thorm, chosen of Shar. The pursuant text describes a battle between Ketheric Thorm's faithful and magical Harper forces. I do not know what magic the Dark Justiciar summoned to our plane, but if it came from the Weave, then let it be cursed for eternity. For 3 days we've sieged the towers. For 3 days their dark bolts cleaved our ranks. And on the third day, as his men and women at last began to fall, Ketheric entered the battle. Love Chianthar. Here you find a rich history of the Chianthar River. Evidently, it flowed through half a dozen settlements, more and more springing up over time. And the picture that this book evokes is that lasts 100 years, one of barges drifting over the orange waters under a burning autumn sky, and the barges smelling of casked wine, salted pork, exciting spices, less exciting spices like rosemary, which is still fragrant and nice, but altogether not terribly exciting, and children running barefoot by the banks, waving to the grinning, sweating sailors from their play among the river reeds. Sure.
Don't be shy. Have a gander at the finest stock.
Okay, that is the whole ground floor explored, but we've reached the end of our usual episode length. So I think next time we're going to head upstairs and actually see everything, including the cleric that's up there. But we'll save that for then. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.